Dear children, in the last few classes we were learning about the methods of collecting the data. There we discussed about mailing the questionnaire, telephone method and personal interview, and we learned about the merits and the demerits of these types of interviews. Now today we are going to discuss about the difference between census and sample survey and an organization of data collection known as National Sample Survey Organization. Now let us move on to the topic. Census and sample survey. We are going to analyze the difference between census and sample survey. Now what is meant by census? You might have heard about the word census. Now the census is a study about the population of a country. Now it is conducted once in 10 years. You might have seen the government officials coming to your house and collecting the details regarding number of people in the house, then number of people who are employed, unemployed, and it will be a big sheet of paper containing lots of pages, and they will be collecting the information regarding all the people in the house. So census means a study of population, a study of complete enumeration where each and every element of the population is taken into consideration. That means if there are 10 members in a family, the details regarding all the 10 members in a family will be taken for the census. So each and every element of population will be considered in the census. So what is a census? A survey which contains each and every element of population is called census. Therefore, it is called the method of complete enumeration. Census is taken once in 10 years. So it collects the detailed information regarding unemployment, then employment, number of adults, number of children, number of male, number of female, literate, illiterate, all these details are taken while the census is done. So census is a study of complete enumeration. Each and every element of population is taken into consideration. I told you the government officials are given the duty of taking the census. They will visit the family, each and every families. They will move from one house to another house and they will be collecting the details regarding each and every member of a family. So that is why it is known as a complete study or method of complete enumeration. Nobody is left out in collecting the information. So such a study is known as census. So census is very important to know about the population. So here I have written details are collected on employment, unemployment, literacy rate, number of male population, number of females, adult, children, etc. This is known as census. Now the next is sample survey. So what are we trying to learn here is the difference between census and sample survey. Now if census is a method of complete enumeration, sample survey is a method in which few samples are collected. Now here each and every element of population is not taken into consideration. Only few are selected and the studies are conducted on the basis of that. Now let us see what is a sample survey. Sample survey refers to a group or section of population from which information is to be obtained. So here different from census. In census, each and every person is information regarding each and every element is collected, but whereas in a sample survey, each and every element is not considered, but few from the total population will be selected for study. This is the basic difference between census and sample survey. So population includes, population in the sense census. So census or population. Population includes all the items, but whereas sample includes only a few. So from the name itself it is clear, right? Sample, few. Now, therefore, the first task of a survey is to identify the population. If you are given a particular work or a research work, you have to conduct a survey, isn't it? The basic of all these research work is to conduct a survey. Only then only we will be able to find out an answer for the problem. So, when we are conducting a survey, what has to be done? The first task of the survey is to identify the population. So, if you are given a task before you, you have to conduct a survey. So, the first task in the survey is to identify the population. What are you supposed to study? Identify the population. On the basis of that, you can decide whether you have to go with census or sample survey. Now, for example, if the number of population is too large that you are not able to conduct a census, you can go for sample survey. So, the first task of the survey is to know about the population. Then you can decide whether you have to go with a census or a sample survey. So, this is how you select among the census and sample survey. So, the first task of the survey is to identify the population. On the basis of that, the method of study can be selected, either census or sample survey. Now, the difference between census and sample survey in detail with the help of an example. So, with the help of an example, we are going to learn the difference between census and sample survey. Now, your research work is to study the economic condition of the agricultural labours of a district. Now, you are a person who is going to conduct a research work, and now what is the subject of your research work? Is to study about the economic condition. Economic condition, you know what is it? Which is related to money matters. Economic condition of agricultural labours. What is the financial status of agricultural labours of a particular district? So, your research work, once again I am repeating, your research work is to study about the financial position of agricultural workers of a district. Now, if it is a census or population, what you will do? How many numbers of agricultural labours are there in the district? You will go to each and every person and you will collect the information to know about their financial status. That is known as census. You will not leave any person, you will go to each and every person in the district. For example, if there are 300 agricultural labours in that district, you will go to each and every member, all the 300 labours. From all these 300 agricultural labours, information will be collected, and on the basis of that you will conclude the financial position of the agricultural labours in that particular district. But whereas if it is a sample survey, what you will do? Only few are studied. That means 10% of the total population will be studied. So, out of the total agricultural labours in the district, 10% of the agricultural labours will be selected for study. How do we select? That is what we are going to learn next. So, if it is a census, all the agricultural labours will be studied. But whereas if it is a sample survey, few agricultural labours will be selected and studies will be conducted on the basis of that to know about their financial position. Okay, I hope it is clear to you the difference between census and sample survey. Now, sample survey. Now, it is very clear, the difference is very clear with regard to census and sample survey. Now, which one is better? In order to get more clarification, or if the information has to be very apt, we have to definitely depend on census. Okay, some cases errors can also happen because the information given by the interviewee may not be correct always. So, census also we can depend on, at the same time we can depend on sample survey also. That is what I told you. When a research work is given for you, the first task of the survey is to identify the population, and on the basis of that you can decide whether you have to opt for census or sample survey. But one thing is there, if you are opting for sample survey, there are so many benefits. Benefit number one, it is time saving. It is time saving because in a sample survey you are conducting a study on few samples. So, only you need to interview or collect information only from a group of people. So, it can save the time. Second one is it can save the money. It is cost saving. That means the information is collected only from few people, not the whole population. Next, it is convenient. If there are 300 people in a study, collecting the information from all the 300 people is a hectic job for you. But if it is a sample survey, you need to collect the information only from the few people, therefore it seems to be convenient. And the last one, it is reliable. In what sense I have written it as reliable? Because here, example I told you, if there are 300 houses for you or 300 data is to be collected from 300 units or 300 households. If you are using census, it will be very difficult for you. But if it is a sample survey, you will be collecting only few samples. As you are collecting only few samples, you will go into detail with regard to that. So, a detailed study can be conducted if it is a few samples. The other one, if it is a census, the number is too large. Therefore, you will try to limit the number of questions and you will try to limit the work. But if it is a sample survey, you need to conduct this survey or collection of data is to be done only for few samples. Therefore, you will go for an elaborate study. If it is an elaborate study, more reliable information you will be getting. In that sense, we can say sample survey is more reliable than census. But each and every method has got its own merits and demerits. Now, we will move on to the next topic, sample survey. So, I hope the difference between sample survey and the census is clear to you. Census means data is collected from each and every element of population, but whereas in a sample survey, only few are selected and studied. Now, I told you how the samples are collected, that we will be learning later, isn't it? Now, we are going to learn about that sample survey. How do we do the sample survey? There are two methods of doing the sample survey, that is random sampling and non-random sampling. Random sampling and non-random sampling. Now, what is this random sampling? Random sampling, in the random sampling, every individual has an equal chance of being elected. Example, lottery method. Selection is done at random. This will be clear only when I give the example of lottery method. So, what is a random sampling? So, we are discussing about the sampling survey. The sampling survey can be done in two ways, random sampling and non-random sampling. In random sampling, the selection is done at random using lottery method. Lottery method is an example which can be made clear to you. And here, every element, each and every person is getting the chance of being elected. Now, whereas in a non-random sampling, just opposite of this, everyone will not have a chance of being elected. Here, as per the convenience of the interviewer, the interviewees are selected. That is a basic difference. To know about the basic difference, we have to go in detail with regard to random sampling and non-random sampling. Now, let us see about random sampling, one important method of sample survey. What is random sampling? Once again, we can go through it. Each and every individual has an equal chance of being elected. Example, lottery method. So, random sampling as a concept will be clear only when you learn lottery method. Now, let us go to lottery method. Now, your research work, you are given a research work to study about the income of 300 households in an area. Your research work is to study about the income of 300 households in an area. Now, as it is a sample survey, you are not going to learn all the 300 households, right? You will be selecting a sample of few households. Now, from 300 households, you are planning to learn 30 households as sample. If it is a census, all the 300 you have to learn. As it is a sample survey, you are going to learn only about 30 households. That is an example of sample survey. Now let us see how are we going to do this sample survey with the help of random sampling. So for that we are going to explain lottery method. Now lottery method is very simple. In the lottery method, your main aim is to study about the 300 households, and out of the 300 households, as it is a sample survey, you are going to learn 30 households. So what are you going to do for that? You will take a small pot or a bottle, and in that you will be writing the names of all these 300 households in a paper. The name of all the 300 households will be written in a paper, and you will be cutting that and folding those papers where the names of all the 300 households will be there individually, and you will be putting all those papers in that bottle. Right? So in the bottle, how many pieces, how many papers you have folded? All the 300, the names of all the 300 households will be there in that bottle. Okay. Now you will be shuffling it, and you will be asking one person to come and take one chit for you. Now how many papers are there inside? You have folded all the 300 households. The names of all the 300 households are written in a paper, and you had cut it, and you have folded it, and you have already put it in the bottle. And now you are shuffling it, and you are asking a person to take one for you. Okay. So first one is taken, and you will open the paper, and you will read out the name of the family. So if family A or family B is the name which you get, that family has to be interviewed. So that is the first family. So likewise, how many you have to take? 30 numbers you have to take. 30 households you are going to study, therefore 30 you have to take. Now again you will shuffle that, you will shake that bottle, you will shuffle it, and you will ask that person to take the next one. So at random you are taking the lot. So you are picking up that chit at random. That is what I have written here. Here the selection is done at random. One by one you are asking the person to take. So from that bottle of in which the names of 300 households are written, you are picking 30 chits from that bottle. So that is what I told you here. The sample of 30 is selected for study at random. At the same time, every individual is getting a chance of being elected. That means you have written the names of all the 300 households, and you have already put in the bottle. So everybody is getting a chance of being elected. From that at random you are selecting 30 as a sample. This is known as random sampling. This is the lottery method of random sampling method. So once again here, every individual is getting a chance of being elected because you have written the names of all the 300 households in a piece of paper, and you had already put it in the bottle. And from that at random you are taking 30 households for study. So for sample, 30 households are taken, and every individual is getting a chance of being elected here. That is random sampling method. So with the lottery method, I hope the random sampling method is clear to you. But whereas in non-random sampling method, this kind of possibility is not there. Here everyone will not get a chance of being elected. Instead of that, what is happening here? Let us see. Example is research work. You are asked to do the research work of 100 households. So as it is a sample survey, we are not going to do the we are not going to collect the information from all the 100 households. Instead of that, you will be collecting the information from, say for example, 10 households. So here we are going to learn how an individual is conducting a sample survey using non-random sampling method. Just now we finished random sampling method using lottery, and here we are discussing how the person is going to conduct a sample survey using non-random sampling method. So here, as it is a sample survey, he has taken 10 households for study from the total of 100. So now how he is selected, how he has selected the 10 households, not at random. Now he has selected 10 households for his study. That may be the house nearby to his house and those family members whom he feels convenient to interview. So here everything is based on the interviewer's decision. Here at random selection is not done. That is what I have written here. Here we may select 10 households near to our house and those families whom we find convenient to collect the information. Therefore, we can say according to non-sampling, random sampling, judgment of the investigator is playing a very important role here. That is what is happening here. So 10 households he has taken the sample not on the basis of random. Random selection is not there. Instead of that, as per his convenience, maybe those 10 households, maybe the house is near to his own house or the families which are convenient for him to conduct the interview. So that is known as non-random sampling. So I hope the basic difference between random sampling and non-random sampling is clear to you, and this random sampling and non-random sampling comes under the sample survey. Now we will move on to the next topic, and that is the last topic of this chapter, that is Census of India and N.S.S.O. Why N.S.S.O? Because it is a very important data collection organization, that is National Sample Survey Organization. Now you know census is collected once in 10 years and the first census after the independence is taken in the year 1951. Now let us have a brief study of which are the census taking organizations in our country. Let us see what are they. Which are they? Some of the agencies at national level which gives a census report. Now the census report is presented by these organizations in our country. Now let us see who are these agencies. Number one is N.S.S.O, that is National Sample Survey Organization. Number two, CSO. What is the full form of CSO? Central Statistics Office. The third agency is RGI, that is Registrar General of India. Next one, DGCIS, Directorate General of Commercial Intelligence and Statistics. So these are the main bodies which collect the census to study about the population of our country. Among these bodies, N.S.S.O plays a very important role in the census of our country. So let us have a discussion on N.S.S.O, that is National Sample Survey Organization. Now, National Sample Survey Organization N.S.S.O provides estimates on literacy, school enrollment. What is meant by school enrollment? How many children are entered to the school, enrolled to the school in a particular academic year, in the beginning of an academic year. Then employment, how many are employed, how many are unemployed in our economy. Then morbidity. What is meant by morbidity? The people who are already into the disease, affected by diseases. Then child care, then public distribution system. PDS is public distribution system. You have learned about public distribution system in economics in class 9. Then retail prices of various goods. Regarding all these, performance of agricultural sector, industrial sector and service sector in our economy, literacy rate of male, female. Regarding all these, the details are collected by N.S.S.O. N.S.S.O also makes a study on livestock of an economy, cattle rearing, the number of cattle, all those details are also collected by N.S.S.O. So, N.S.S.O is a very efficient body which collects the census, which collects the details regarding employment level, unemployment level, literacy rate and even the number of livestock in our country, and they publishes it in their journal known as Sarvekshana. So their details are published in the journal known as Sarvekshana. This is the journal through which they publish their details. Sarvekshana, it is important from the examination point of view. Sarvekshana, they publishes their details in Sarvekshana, and government for the planning purposes, they used to refer the census which is submitted by these organizations, especially by National Sample Survey Organization. I told you for the planning process, government needs all these kind of statistical data. So government depends on these statistical data which is collected by N.S.S.O and other census collecting organization for their planning purposes. So with that we have come to an end of this chapter. You can work on the exercise given in your textbook. Thank you.